Alright, let's look at the homework 1.1, problem number 4. We want to find the domain and range of this given function h of x. Alright, so let's do that. Alright, so you can see that there's a square root, so we have to make sure that the expression inside the square root must be non-negative, which means that greater than or equal to 0. Alright, so in order to solve this inequality, since inequality is a little too hard, so I'm going to just turn it into an equality and see if we can solve that first. So you have 4 minus x squared is equal to 0. So let's do the equality first. The equality is a little easier. Alright, then we can solve this by adding x squared to both sides. So you're going to have 4 is equal to x squared. Right, then we can get rid of square by taking a square root of both sides. So square root of 4 is 2 is equal to just x. Right, but remember that whenever you take the square root, we need to consider the positive version and a negative version. Right, so x is equal to either positive 2 or negative 2. Right, so let's draw a number line here. Right, remember that we're trying to solve inequality. Right, so but I'm gonna just put tick marks at the negative 2 and a positive 2. Right, then what we're gonna do is I'm gonna look at this expression right here to see if this guy is positive or negative. Right, so for example, we can just use a sample number. So we have 3 separate sections. Right, this guy is less than negative 2, so we can try maybe negative 3. So x equals negative 3. Right, so if you plug in negative 3 into this expression, you're going to have 4 minus negative 3 squared. So it's 4 minus 9, which is negative. So I'm going to indicate that it's going to be negative there. Right, and what if it's between negative 2 and 2? So I'll just use a sample number, x equals, say, 0. Right, if x equals 0, 4 minus 0 is definitely positive, so it's positive there. Right, then when x equals, say, 3, right, then you have 4 minus 9 is negative, so it's going to be negative there. Right, remember that we want 4 minus x squared to be greater than or equal to 0. Right, so it's equal to 0 when x equals negative 2 and a positive 2. And also positive if it's between negative 2 and a positive 2. Right, so therefore, we know that so this guy, 4 minus x squared, is greater than or equal to 0 on the interval from negative 2 to positive 2. Right? So that's the domain. So domain is going to be, it's a square bracket because we're going to include negative 2 and a positive 2. Right? So we have that. Alright, so range is a little bit tricky. Right? So you can see that, let's say if you look at the function h of x, which is equal to square root of 4 minus x squared. Right? Then think about the smallest possible function value we can get is going to be, right, since there's a square root here, so this guy is going to be never negative. So the best we can do is, can we get a 0? Right? We know that when x equals negative 2 or positive 2, this expression is going to be 0. So we can get 0. So the smallest possible number would be 0. Right? Then think about the largest possible value would be, alright, so we are subtracting x squared. X squared is always non-negative, right? So we have the biggest value we can get would be, Right, so full minus, we want this to be as small as possible, when in this case 0. So you have a full minus 0, square root of full minus 0, which is 2. So 2 is the largest possible function value, because we cannot get any larger than that. So you have, so largest value is 2. So the range is between 0 and 2. So range is going to be starting from 0 and ending at 2. Alright, so let's type this guy in. Alright, so the domain we found was square bracket, -2 to +2. Right, the range is going to be 0 to 2. Right, so we have that. And then the next question is, can we sketch the picture? Right, so remember that when x equals -2 and a +2, function is 0, which means that it hits the x-axis. Right, so this guy, it doesn't hit the x-axis at here. This guy doesn't hit the axis at x equals 2, so those are not right. All right, here, either this one and that one, so it looks like it's hitting the x-axis in the right places. Right, but the function has to be between 0 and 2. It looks like this is between -2 and 0. So this is going to be the correct picture. So I'll check that. Alright, so I'm gonna, let's see, check the answer. Oops, sorry. I have a wrong one. Alright, so I'm gonna go down and submit for testing. Alright, it came back and it looks like we got the domain correctly and the range correctly. And we have the correct picture. So it's actually a upper semicircle. Right? So that's it. I hope that this was clear.